Yeah, she died today.
Ago.
You thought she died a decade ago?
Yeah, I thought she died.
Because she had her show. She had the documentary. Not the documentary. Not Hallmark, but like they did with Johnny Cash and they did with Ray Charles.
Oh,
that one.
I don't remember that. I don't watch biopics.
Are you talking about?
They did a biopic of him. I thought they're dead.
Are you talking about? What are you talking about?
They did a biopic of Tina Turner, and I thought she was already dead.
Okay. I mean, see, if I was ever famous enough to have a biopic done for me, I would know that the only reason why that came out while I was still alive is because they expected me to die soon. And lo and behold, that probably came out, and she's like,
yeah,
that was a decade ago.
Yeah, she died at 83.
They did another
one. Good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's pretty good. I mean, that sucks. Tina Turner's awesome. I still think, honestly, fuck her music. My favorite thing ever is her in fucking Thunderdome.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
Fucking, she's so
music,
badass
her life
in that
work.
movie.
Her life's work, you don't
Her
like?
life's work? No. Mad Max 3. That's what I care about.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
A cameo that she spent 3 days on.
It's so awesome.
3 days?
I don't know, probably.
She was like a starring role in that. She was the bad guy.
Depends on how you do movies. Sometimes it only, sometimes it takes
she
no
was
time.
on the poster.
Does
she
she
was
like
the
phone
second
it
biggest
in?
face on the. No, she was awesome. That movie rules.
Oh, okay.
Whoever say that
Christopher
movie
Lee
sucks
was
can
on the
go
poster
die.
of The Stupids. He's only in for one scene, so.
Well, that's different. That's because they were trying to sell it using Christopher Lee.
Oh, maybe.
They didn't need to sell Mad Max 3 after Road Warrior.
I also don't think he was on the poster.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he was actually. Yeah, that's true.
I also have no idea what movie you're talking about. So, I'm just talking out my ass.
Wow, you don't know this obscure movie I've never heard of until 2 days ago?
Yeah, when Matt and I watched it.
Oh, you just watched it too. That's funny.
Yeah.
We do have a list.
I might sing one of her songs tonight. I don't know.
That'd be cool.
Could be.
You should.
Yeah.
Well, you better start practicing quick.
What's that
quickly?
What's that got to do with it?
I don't know.
That was a substitution.
I get it.
Oh,
you don't like her music. You wouldn't like
Jimmy
the music
doesn't like the music, so
no, I know the reference. I just didn't get it.
I thought you were gay.
I am.
Whoa!
You see, I'm gay enough to know who Tina Turner is. Okay.
How many times?
I'm gay enough to know her songs.
How
when
many
I hear
times
them.
have you even watched The Birdcage, Jimmy?
Zero. Exactly zero.
That's what I thought.
Hey, keep this between us. I haven't seen Paris is Burning either.
Oh, okay. I know about that. I haven't seen it, but I know about it.
What's
Jesus, I'm more gay than you are.
You are.
You know who Kim Petra is?
Who?
Kim Petra?
Kim
That sounds really familiar.
Okay. I'm taking both your cards away.
Both of my cards? What's the other card?
The trap
Your
card,
V
the spell
cards.
card.
Get it back.
Oh, my trap card's gone. My spell card's gone. I can't even set monsters face down anymore.
I'm putting my card in defense mode.
Monster Reborn's banned.
How about cake? What is it? Cupcake?
Cupcake? Like
Cupcake, the rapper.
Yeah, I thought I came, but I peed on a dick. Pubic hair got inches. That's weave on a dick. Yeah.
That's man. Lyricism has really evolved.
Yeah,
Dude, I think
Cupcake's amazing.
I haven't
It
listened to
has,
Cupcake in
truly.
forever, but I remember hearing a little bit. I'm like, damn.
There's another cake. There's also Cakes to Killa, but I haven't heard anything from
I don't know.
Cakes
Yeah, I
in
don't
a
know that
while.
one.
It was a sudden enough disappearance that I'm like, did he do something bad? You know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, that's weird.
Yep.
Like all of a sudden there's just nothing coming out.
Ben, you're right. This is more bitter. Yeah.
For our listeners, we are either we've either imbibed in some Neapolitan ice cream or we're currently imbibing in it.
Which the
Just give
Neapolitan
it back.
for those who for the longtime listeners, that Neapolitan ice cream is a reference to a previous episode.
Yes,
it's
it
an
is.
in joke. If you laughed when you heard Neapolitan ice cream, like I remember that episode when those goofs. Then you're in the in crowd.
Yeah.
I had to eat a whole other carton just to really understand this.
Yeah, you had to
A week ago.
You
when
had
I bought this
It's
one.
an intense study.
You had to put yourself into a sugar-fueled psychosis to just kind of get.
all at once.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you ate all of us at once,
Yeah. Well,
ritualistically.
Wow.
not today. That's Tuesday.
That's Tuesday. Yeah,
Oh.
that's Saturday.
Yeah. What you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Fucking what? Oh no. Well,
Damn,
also,
he's the one that got the
also,
list.
I do have the list. Well, also, we're drinking the limeade that you made that everybody's making on YouTube, and I saw it and I was like, that looks good, and then didn't do anything, and then Matt actually went out of his way to do it, and it's fucking amazing.
I'm eating a fad. I mean, I'm drinking a fad. You've tricked me.
You've tricked
You're
me
making
into
me
drinking a fad.
I'm ingesting TikTok bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, but isn't it good?
You tricked me. I'm ingesting TikTok bullshit.
I think the vodka makes it more. That's why.
I can't wait to try that for the next episode. I'm absolutely doing that.
It's good.
But yeah, I do have the list because we have three questions.
Woo! That's 2 more than last time.
That's 2 more than last time. So mostly because Will technically sent in 2, and this Y hasn't paid me for his question yet, but he said he would, and he told it to me.
All right.
Could you not burp right into the mic? Do you think that adds to it?
I think it does.
Don't give yourself an applause.
It's seasoning. It adds seasoning to the recording. Oh yeah, I have safety minute written down. Yeah, we should probably do a quick safety minute. We've been doing that at meetings at work, so I'll do the safety meeting first.
Safety meeting.
And my safety minute is about the dangers of snorting caffeine pills.
Oh.
So, caffeine's a mild stimulant. Found in a lot of products. Caffeine powder has been gaining popularity by being snorted. And apparently there are reports of teenagers as young as 14 years old who have died as a result of a caffeine overdose because of heart attacks, right?
Yeah.
And where's the numbers? A teaspoon of pure caffeine powder contains between 3,200 and 4,706 milligrams of caffeine.
Weak.
Wow.
A standard cup of coffee has about 95 milligrams of caffeine. What I'm trying to say is don't snort caffeine.
Isn't that old?
Okay.
Because remember when they were trying to do it with alcohol? It was powdered alcohol.
I don't remember that. I remember butt chugging.
No, it was a thing a couple years ago when they were trying to change the consistency of alcohol. That was also an issue.
People were snorting caffeine alcohol powder.
It was a newer
Powdered
thing, so it's
alcohol.
really isolated.
That's kind of cool. So
How new is that
not only
article?
is it something stupid, it's also how old is this article? I don't know. It's a fucking
I've heard that for a while.
it's a fucking addictionresource.net.
It should be at the top.
Oh, wow.
I know. I that's why I went down because it wasn't at the top.
Okay.
This brings up a whole lot of questions.
That's one of the safety stuff. I never.
First off, why is this a segment?
No, it's just a safety minute.
Just
be safe out there.
Why do they need that?
It's a segment.
It's a segment, yeah. But
why
be
does
safe
your
out
office
there.
have that?
You fought me on creating a framing mechanism for this whole thing, and now you're adding segments?
Well, and now I'm doing it because now me doing it is funny. Now it's funny to add segments after almost 30 episodes. Let's go
for a safety second. Jimmy's in danger.
You're in danger?
How dare you? This is a betrayal, the likes of which have never been seen.
Hey, Matt might have the equipment, and you might do whatever you do, but I have the.
Damn.
But I have the login for the podcast. I can do whatever. If you can destroy a thing, you control a thing. That's
it's the idea of the finger on the pulse, but it's just you could kill it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You ever touch a pet, a small animal, and think just at any moment?
Yeah. No, I played the cleric.
I've hunted before. I've hunted a lot.
You've hunted?
Yeah.
But I don't think when I've never hunted either. But my perception.
No, I have.
Wait, no, I haven't hunted. I never hunted either.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just like, no, man, no fucking way. No. What I mean is, when I picture hunting, I don't picture sitting next to an animal that trusts me or is helpless and being like, shh, and then shooting it in the side of the face.
Okay, so there's a place.
Oh.
So there's a place. Near a lot of places have where you shoot pheasants. Yeah. And they're bred for this, so they're dumb.
Oh.
And they'll sit in shot puts, and so it's like the most unsportsmanlike thing you could do is they'll force them up in the air, and you're supposed to shoot.
You're literally shot putting birds.
Yes,
that's fucked.
You pay for this for pheasants.
That fucking rules.
And then,
that's so funny.
And when they don't die, they instruct you to strangle them by grabbing their neck and swinging them as hard as you can.
Yeah, you wring their neck. That is. I didn't know they launched pheasants out of a machine.
Yeah, because they're barely even flyable.
Pull.
Wow.
Ka-chung, ka-chung, ka-chung.
After doing it, I was like, why? Who thinks this is fun?
It sounds like a bit. That sounds like a joke. That sounds like a construct.
Yeah, and then after that, I field dressed it at a sink to get the feathers out and all that.
I mean, that's really cool. Yeah. But it is.
It was so pathetic. Really you walk absurd, up and you go.
Yeah.
It goes up a total of 1 foot in the air. You shoot it in the ground basically, and then it's still not dead. So you have to get
You're
it out.
such a shitty shot. It's still not. No, I'm kidding.
Isn't life beautiful?
Well, I'm not saying. Yeah, it is beautiful. I'm not saying you're a shitty shot, but I'm picturing some guys like, oh yeah, I'm a hunter. I go hunting all the time, and they have like the birds shot put out, and they still can't hit these fucking.
Well, it's
things.
for like kids.
That somehow makes it worse.
So they have a 12, they have a 12 gauge, and it's supposed to be like the bird barely can't fly. They make it so it can't fly, and then they'll go almost blow their legs out, and then they'll be like, okay, you didn't finish him. You got to wring out its neck.
Come on,
and
Johnny.
Like, what does that mean? And then you see this guy violently just shake his heart.
All right, Johnny. Come on. You got to fucking strangle the life out of it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's a real thing that still does.
That
I
is-
think it's still a thing.
I was picturing like grown-ass men doing it, and that's kind of pathetic.
Yeah.
Unless...
It's supposed
Were
to be
you
to
a
teach kids
grown-ass
like.
man when
Were
you were
you a grown-ass man?
Were you a grown-ass man? I keep worrying that I'm saying something disparaging.
I don't care.
Okay.
I think I did it like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, that you were.
I was like, what, 35 at the time?
Yeah.
Remember, I'm 60.
Yeah. I remember.
60, 10. Yeah, okay.
Midlife crisis. You're like, I can't even kill anything. I need to know what it feels like to kill. But the closest you can get is shooting shot put pheasant.
I mean, the first animal I missed 15 times.
shooting
The
pheasants.
second
in a
one I
barrel.
shot in the ass before I killed it, and then the pheasant was in between. That.
You missed 15 times?
I think so.
I think the trauma you gave from firing that many times is worse than the actual death shot.
I won an expedition
use
where
a
I get to go. No, it was
Like,
it was
imagine
deer.
someone trying to kill you. The only thing worse is if they loudly miss you 15 times.
Oh, I know.
before
I shot
it
it.
happens.
You have that slight hope of
No,
they're
sorry.
not going to hit me.
I shot its leg so it was limping, and I had
Oh
to
my
finish.
God,
I had to finish it off because you
no.
can't. It's illegal to wound an animal.
Yes.
without-
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
So,
very
like,
illegal.
And this was a private place, so I literally had all the time in the world to shoot it.
Oh, so you took your sweet time is
No,
what you're saying.
I was missing.
like shooting pheasants in a barrel, and then you're just
It's
fucking
far away.
missing with the...
It was very far away.
It was a shotgun.
No. I'm shooting a deer. This is a different thing. The pheasant was in the middle.
Oh,
of
you
that.
shot it. Oh, my God.
I've shot several.
Oh,
animals.
come on.
That's, well...
White-tailed deer was my first, and then in the middle of that was a pheasant somewhere, which was pretty boring. And then I did an elk. I did elk years ago.
Oh, you did a real hunt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The first one.
Yeah,
was,
no, he's gone. He's gone.
Okay. I thought
real
they just
hunting.
also had deer at this fucked up
No, yeah, they're
concentration
also
camp for animals.
firing a deer a foot into the air. Blasted too. Some guy's just homemade a cannon that he loads a deer into.
Deer! Like 3 stories in the air.
And
It's like ragdolling, like it's GTA. Like,
Yeah, no, these are different.
We just load this deer into a trebuchet I built off of some parts I got off Amazon.
Dude, they do trebuchets things every year.
Yeah, I know.
They shoot pumpkins.
Yep.
oh yeah, the pumpkin chunkin.
I haven't been there yet. But
Pumpkin chunkin.
anyways, I don't know why you're talking about that.
Well, I because I was morbidly curious, but I do have a bit of a list. Safety minute. Check that off.
Yeah.
People are safer for us doing that.
I guess
I'm
so.
supposed to do safety meetings more. I forget.
Yeah. No, and I did it because
that's
I
terrifying.
had the safety minute at work today, and I fucking hate it. I think it's the dumbest fucking thing in the world, especially because we all sit at desks all day.
Yeah, I know. That's what's
Yeah.
funny. They're like,
Yeah.
hey, don't die today. Because it's very easy to die in our field.
I've been
and then you're
yes,
just like,
yeah.
don't,
I'm like
don't
sitting
sit
here-
too long. You got to get up and
Yeah,
move.
you gotta look
dude.
off in the distance. Oh, don't worry, I do that plenty. Staring off into the middle distance.
Make sure you try to get 20 minutes of sun or you'll get sad.
Yeah. Hey, I got pills for that. It's fine. I got vitamin D for that. I don't
That's
even
good.
need to
That's
see
good
the
stuff.
sun.
I don't
Yeah,
gotta
dude.
take. I don't gotta take those anymore. I'm out all the time.
That's
Yeah,
true.
man,
Yeah.
You got to wear sunscreen though.
yeah,
You do,
I do.
yeah.
I do.
I wear it
I do
every
have
morning
sunscreen.
now. I got to apply it during the day though.
Yep.
That's smart.
I actually forgot it today.
Oh,
Fuck you.
Gotta put. Wow.
Take care of your skin. Take your skin. You
I want a
bastard.
tan. I'm not burning.
No, but like so today I'm trying to get more increasingly and subtly like sardonic with my meeting minutes, like just really like. So today was about how lawn because like there was like a bunch of stuff about weed whacker injuries. So my whole thing was like lawnmowers are power tools, so you should be wearing steel capped boots, gloves, safety goggles, like just like being like pretend you're out, cutting down trees.
Yeah.
A lawnmower, same. Mowing your lawn, same thing. In fact, I even said you should delegate your lawn care services to a professional. Otherwise, it's just too dangerous. So that was fun.
I love that because I can totally imagine, like, you're sitting there in the meeting and everyone's, also doesn't like doing it. And it's just, Casey and I, we're using a grinder and then it breaks and then one of our eyes immediately, we lose our eyes for our lifetime.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Wear sunglasses.
never know.
We always wear glasses when you use
Always
a grinder.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, no.
That's one of those dangerous things you can use.
We cut into some sheet metal the other day, and he's like, "All right, just go in the corner and look away." I'm like, "Jeez."
I'm the most safety-oriented person I know.
We don't got goggles for you, so leave the room. Okay, now I am actually going to just belt through the first couple things of the list.
Okay, we'll see about that.
The first thing is there's questions that we have from viewers.
Okay.
And if you want to submit us your question and have your name read on the podcast and all that fun stuff, it's $6. It is ko-fi.com/wrongroom. Let me actually double check.
Thank you,
Make sure
beep.
you go there. Yep, thank you, beep and beep and beep. Make
You're
sure
gonna burp sometimes into the mic.
So,
I know, but now you did it off, and now you can just kind of hear it in the background.
No, it's just very...
Choose a way to commit. That's all I'm saying.
fi.com/wrongroom. Go
beer.
and donate now, and we'll read your stuff. Make us help make us keep the podcast. Oh, I like make us keep the podcast. Hold us hostage. We can never end the podcast.
He's got to pay back that book he finished.
Well, yeah, that was what I was going to talk about next.
Oh.
All right.
My Trackmarks got picked up by a publisher.
Right.
Actually.
Oh.
You didn't know
Trackmarks-
that. He said that yesterday.
Trackmarks Dieselpunk Fantasy Adventure. That's my tabletop role-playing game. It is being released May 31st, and then Exalted Funeral will be doing print fulfillment. Thank you. We're still in discussion about that, so I'm not sure exactly when it's going to happen.
Oh, sorry.
I think the PDF's going to be like $7. The zine is going to be $14, and will come with a PDF. I'm not exactly sure, but if you want to know more, if you want to see the catalog, go to byle with a Y, BYLE Cosmo.com. So bylecosmo.com, you'll learn more about
Did you
that.
get that, Casey?
Yeah.
And now
It's in
I
the notes.
have viewer questions and then a couple other questions that have been brought up throughout the week.
Yeah.
So I guess the first one I'll ask is a question from Zwei, which is he knows that Matt could beat both of us up. So if we were going to fight, which one of us would win?
Between you and me?
You and me.
It's weird that
Matt would kill
it's
both
weird
of
we
us.
have listeners, so yeah.
Matt could.
Huh.
Someone knows that could
already
beat you
said.
guys up.
I mean,
Yeah, it is.
luckily,
And I asked him, like, I was on a call with him, like, are you, like, on Discord with him, like, are you sure? And he's like, yes. of
Yeah, but
course
if
he
you work
can.
out, you could easily beat me.
yeah.
Yeah, but I don't. I've been working out like
Because
not.
you would just like
I don't know.
your hands would just literally be like.
Luckily, I've thought about this
Yeah,
enough.
they would be. I'm fat enough.
Luckily, I've thought about this enough. Because of course there was a time in our lives where we had a divide.
Yes.
So
yes, there was.
so-
This is the third time that's come up on the podcast. The dark times, the era.
Yeah.
of,
I was just
It's
in
even
the
funnier
background.
because I definitely didn't think about this. But I like to think, in retrospect, like after that happening, just like me thinking, oh, how could I kick his ass?
of a scenario in which you see me in public and you just fucking rock my shit, like just hey you, and then like beam my head against a fucking bar.
I'd probably say you,
I would say
but-
Jimmy.
but
Oh, okay. Two votes
I've
for me. I like
I've
that.
been in a couple of fights, and the thing is, I can take a hit pretty well, and then once I take a hit, I go fucking crazy.
Everything blacks out.
Yeah,
You get
no,
the adrenaline.
I get
yeah. Yeah.
I've had people have to hold me back before. From like, I had a friend back in middle school that
You're
was
a
like,
psycho.
he was doing like a little fake punch, like haha, and he went a little too far and just bought me right on the nose, and I saw red.
The exact same thing happened to me. That is so. When he did that to me, he punched me in the chest a little too hard. I completely misinterpreted. I for a split second, I remember vividly. All my surroundings went black except for my body, which had turned into lightning for like half a second, and then I punched him in the face. And
That's why I think
that was one of the
if
fights
your
I had,
argument
yeah.
is that you have adrenaline, Jimmy also has a biological body that contains.
The thing is, the thing
I
is,
also am a human, so no.
the
He
thing
also
is,
has adrenaline.
Matt could beat us in a fight.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't.
I would blind
because
you.
he wouldn't fight.
I would blind you first.
He might,
That
would
now-
be true.
I would
but-
immediately
but I think
debilitate you.
Matt has a sort of temperament that he'd hold himself back from getting into a fight. Jimmy, you'd be the one to start the fight
Yes,
to begin with.
I would be. I should tell the story.
Huh?
I should tell.
You
I
blinded
would
somebody?
be the one to get no. Well, first of all, I want to kind of lampshade that you're like, but Matt's a gentle soul. He would never. And Matt says, first, I would blind you.
blind you. That's good.
No, yeah, the one last night that you were gonna do from memory.
Oh yeah, you right now?
I mean,
Okay, so I went to a bar with Jimmy's sister. What? When did I say this? It was a couple days ago because I drank a good amount.
yeah.
Was it last night?
You told me this last night.
Okay, it was last night. I drank a lot. I forget.
Right.
Wow. I never forget. That's actually a surprising thing.
Yeah, I walk in and I'm having this conversation with Jimmy's sister.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I noticed on the side of the bar.
You've got
like I said,
fucking kidding me. You've got to be fucking kidding me, Matt. That was crystal on the headphones. That was crystal on that. What the fuck?
Did you hear that?
Yes, I heard. In fact, my first reaction in my brain was that, that's weird. In real life and in my headphones, it was the exact same volume.
Yeah, it was the same. Are you okay?
No,
it sounded wet.
No, actually,
it reverberated.
It's very rare for that to happen to me. I know you talk about that, like some things just goes through you.
I shit myself on average once per quarter.
It can't. It just doesn't happen to me. It's close. It's a steel trap down there.
It's a steel trap.
nothing goes out and nothing goes in.
So I was at a bar. I was Jimmy's sister, and I noticed on the side of it, there wasn't much people there.
How did this happen?
Let me tell the story. So there's a guy. I don't know. He looked mid-aged. He kind of had a balding spot.
He looked mid.
He looked mid.
He
would look mid. And he brought a Switch to the bar.
Oh,
because I know you talked about you bring a book to the bar and you throw it at people when you get mad. You only get books to do that for it.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure you haven't brought a book in a long time because you
no, because I always keep it on my phone.
Now you're busy. Oh, because you read on the phone.
Yeah, I read PDFs.
Right, yeah. But
I only buy books after I've already read them so I can have a physical copy as like a trophy.
Right, cuck.
God, I was going to mutter nerd, and you just kind of...
I know several people like that, and I think
they're all cucks.
At least I didn't shit myself trying to tell this story.
So, from the strain of remembering a story.
This guy...
Could you decide what orifice you're speaking out of?
This guy in the back, not only is he brought a Switch.
Yeah.
He also he's playing the new Kingdom 11 Legend of Zelda.
Kingdom 11.
Legend of Zelda. He's playing it.
Yeah.
He's rocking it. He's at the bar for some reason.
Uh-huh.
I'm talking to Jimmy's sister.
Yeah.
And I talk about how sometimes you look at dirty pictures.
Yeah.
Some people will switch to incognito.
Yeah.
In order to do that because it's just weird. And then he chimed in and said, I just get nervous. I just like some people are from a household in which they just feel like they still need to do it even if they're not in a house they need to do it anymore. Yeah. And I fucking punched him in the face. He knocked down, square out. He's done. I take his Switch. I delete his game file. And then I went back to the conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the story that Jimmy want to talk about. For some reason, you want me to put it on.
No, that's
yeah.
I believe none of that.
Oh, well, I'm just changing verbatim.
Yeah, it's verbatim.
Yeah.
I mean, I could tell it, but I don't know if you're going to believe it. Maybe you will believe it.
Yeah, maybe I could believe it from you.
What, punching the guy?
No, just a different story.
I mean, okay. I would... I
Dead
guess,
air.
All right. Well, no, because the conversation was about like I would be the one most likely to get in a fight.
Yeah,
more likely to get in a fight. And
oh
it's
yeah,
yeah, because that happened exactly. I was at the bar with my sister. That happened exactly as Matt said. Guy to switch to the bar. I was like, isn't it weird that people switch to incognito when they own their own device and their own internet?
No.
And then he literally goes, sorry to eavesdrop, but some people do that because they came from an overbearing household and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, how about you kill your family? How about you kill your dad? How about you go get your dad's gun, you go room to room, and you kill your entire family? And the entire time my sister's like, Jimmy. Yeah, and he didn't want to talk to me. And everyone's like, oh, and he didn't want to talk to me anymore. I was drinking. I was really into it. I was really intense. That could have ended up in a fight. Escalating
yeah, just because someone
like
wanted to talk in a bar.
Yeah, because I do. Yeah.
Fantastic. See, that's way more believable. Way more
than Matt getting in a fight.
Yeah, no, you giving death threats to people. That's like the most. That's like butter.
That's not good. That's not good. That's like me making death threats is like in public is like spreading butter.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just gets everywhere.
Yeah.
It just gets it gets on everyone. There's a lot of collateral damage. I was drinking. Okay, give me some fucking slack.
Yeah, he told me to replay it just now, yesterday when we talked.
Well, because you were like, oh no, I don't even remember how we got onto that. You were like, no, I'll tell it. It's like, okay.
No, because Timmy was like, oh, I don't want to say it because it'll look bad.
Oh yeah, I didn't want to say it.
And I was like, I'll say it.
Yeah.
I'll just describe it, and I just added some stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
You added physical violence.
You added physical violence, except you also removed good narrative elements that made it believable. Because Jimmy added how he literally, like, how he turned. He added an interjection to what the guy said before he made his statement. That made it much more believable. Because it seemed almost like, that what he said, the exact way that he said it, burned into your mind, and you remembered it.
I believe
Matt was just like, some guy had a switch. We were like, hey, wasn't it weird looking at porn? Yeah. And that guy was like, some people are weird looking at porn. And you're like, fuck you. And you hit him.
I took parts out.
When you interpret Matt as a cool, methodical killer, the way he described that, and he said, look at this porn is weird. Punch him in the face.
Yeah.
That's believable.
Not believable, because Matt would immediately start asking a whole lot more questions.
So
if I hurt somebody, I'm probably gonna think about it.
I think what's happening right now is this is all one big redirection from the initial question, which is, would I kick your ass?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you said yeah.
Is it is it
unless I have a stick in my hand, and then you're fucked.
yeah.
I mean, you have 2 sticks or one?
Because here's what
I just need the one, dude. I just need the one.
Need the one stick. Is it because I'm more willing to get in a fight?
Yes,
Okay.
very much.
I can see that. I would take the initiative.
Yeah.
Oh.
Also,
first
I've lost 50 pounds. I've kind of lost an edge.
Oh, that's true.
So,
Yeah.
Might be a bit more lithe, but that's it.
More an edge.
Yeah, you're you definitely are a lot hotter than me. If it was a beauty contest, you'd definitely be winning.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, but you're like you're like an archetype, aren't you? Like the bear, you know?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but he doesn't have an archetype. He wants to be in his own way. You have an archetype.
I have an archetype.
Like a young thing.
I'm pretty sure
I'm pretty
sure I have an archetype.
What is it?
I don't know. But I got one.
Then you don't have one.
Gay Jungian psychology is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
I'm the bear. Yeah, my archetype is the bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's your rising?
My rising. I love how Jungian psychology is like literally horoscopes for men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so fucking funny.
Good.
People who are like, I'm the wanderer. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know?
I got some books on that, but I was more curious about like it would help me write better.
Yeah.
Because if you give a character like an archetype, then you can flow in it better.
You don't even have to try. You can just write. The books just write themselves. Stephen King, move over.
Hitler, such a Pisces.
Oh wait, it's April. Shit.
Is it Pisces?
I don't know.
Fucking know.
I ain't Pisces.
No,
all right,
you're Pisces.
well,
you're February.
Yeah.
We should move on to the next question.
Yeah.
Barely.
Which is Will asking, as game masters who use pre-published material, how do you go about choosing how you adapt adventures and settings at the table?
I do it right then and there. I start.
What? Yeah.
I start to read a line and I go, "That's fucking stupid."
Yeah.
And I don't read it.
And then you don't do it anymore.
No.
Yeah. You. I mean, yeah. Like I've done the same thing. I feel like we could probably I feel like everyone could stand to read the adventure more. The only person who I know reads the entire adventure is like Ben.
Yeah.
And it shows because, that's why he finishes games.
Whoa, okay. I just try and synthesize my own plot lines using like 15 other modules.
Now, see, that's more like what you do, is you breeze through a bunch of different like official products and you Frankenstein them together into something, and that's where Ravenloft came from and Planescape came from.
Yeah, because I start reading and then I'm like, oh, wow, seems like the writers weren't allowed to speak about 90% of the lore.
Yeah.
So, fuck that. I'm going to use all of it.
The second and early third edition stuff seems to be where a lot of that comes from.
It's juicy.
It is very juicy. Second edition had all the good lore.
Yep.
It's so good. But I've seen you're kind of doing that with DCC too, if a little more gradually. You grafted on the domain rule set. You're putting adventures together.
I don't know if I'm gonna have time to actually use it, but it's there. Mm-hmm. It's the thing.
So you feel it out, basically. The answer is you got to feel it out in your own way.
I guess it is
There's
really,
not like an easy rule. It's just however you want to run it.
I mean,
it is very holistic.
My go-to is I'll
typically
slam into some published stuff for maybe about 3 or 4 sessions, and then have 2 to 3 sessions that's just completely open. which is it typically works really well because if you do something published that's small, just like a module, if you're running a continuous campaign, every one of the players has a different feeling that they get from that module, that adventure. And how they want to convey that in character changes. You need a little bit of a breathing room before you just jump into another real structured, high intensity, like well-written
That's true.
piece.
You can't just literally go, because I tried to do that with DCC before, where it's like literally just chaining adventures together, and I realized how fatiguing that was, not just for me but for the players too. Very quickly, I have a hard time with the downtime elements. I think it's honestly very evident in track marks because the downtime is literally in a windowless box that we don't talk about, and then you leave the station. Now here's the next thing, because it's like it's a combination of never really been a fan of and never really learned how to handle downtime. You've historically handled downtime and the ebb and flow and pacing a lot better, and it's all very holistic.
I guess so.
You have, like, in all the campaigns we've done, I felt like, just like the way, we always joke about how when you're playing music for the session, how you're GMing, just like it's uncanny. You can tell when you don't plan it because you look up like, you know what I mean? That's perfect.
No, sometimes I'll be running a written adventure and the music changes and then the entire adventure changes.
Yeah. You're the king. You're really good at pacing, and it is all very holistic. That's what's so hard. I know we talked about, refereeing is like an oral tradition before. That's why it's just so fucking hard to teach. I really hope the new DMG that Chris Perkins is supposed to be writing, which I have no idea what the status is on that anymore after everything, but it was supposed to be a here is how to DM book, and that would help, but I still don't think it's enough. You literally have to have.
They're just going to release like a 14-page booklet that you pay $20 for, and it's going to be like, make sure everyone's having fun.
Can't wait. Yeah, I don't know how much Chris Perkins' fucking head wax costs, but it's not. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not $1.50 per page.
His head wax.
His head wax.
Well, they just raised the prices too.
Yeah.
No fucking way.
All the books later this year are going to be $60 each.
Oh,
Maddie just posted that. Yeah.
You've got to be fucking kidding me.
No.
Yeah.
What in? No.
It just raised them.
That's insane.
It's on the Discord.
That's insane. At this point, what I've thought of doing too, is when all the Pathfinder 2 stuff comes out on a demi-plane.
Sorry.
You just got all kinds of noises coming out of you today, huh?
All right.
You want to whistle for me?
No, I believe they did it, but like, honestly, like, Paizo I know it charges a lot for their stuff, but you get like literal bang for your buck. What the fuck do you get from Wizards, man?
Yeah. In a Wizards of the Coast book, there's like 10 pages that are good.
That's
and usable.
It sucks so bad. Oh my god, that's stupid.
The rest is like intro level stuff.
$59.95. Fuck me.
A Wizard's book just tells me what second edition stuff I need to look up.
Yeah, literally.
That's all it does.
Literally. Well, even in the fucking 1D&D stuff where they're like, oh yeah, we're dividing, classes up into like the priest group and stuff. I'm like, that's another thing you literally just stole from second edition. Why don't we all just go play second edition?
Yeah. And you did it in fourth edition, and that worked. It was so great for the archetypes player-wise. Because especially back when I did Adventures League in fourth edition, before it was called Adventures League, I forget what it was. Living Forgotten Realms. Living Forgotten Realms. Living Greyhawk was third edition.
Third edition.
Real early. I never got into that.
There's been some TG threads. People have been posting a bunch of like PDFs trying to archive it all. There was like a ton of Living Greyhawk stuff that's just nowhere to be found anymore.
But you'd meet up with a table of 6 strangers and be like, all right, here's all these wild builds and stuff and all these items and everything. And it would come down to, do we got a striker? All right, we got a defender. We got a support. Okay, and we don't really need a controller. But, we've got one. Okay, cool. And we've got 2 defenders. We got 2 strikers. This is how we're going to play. We know.
Yeah. It's nice.
It's great.
It really puts the organized play.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, to kind of talk more about, like, because you said there's like 10 pages of usable content in pretty much anything anymore, which is kind of why you got to Frankenstein stuff together.
Yeah.
Luckily, I mean, we have access to most third and second edition stuff without having to go through DM Guild. You know what I'm saying? So that makes it really easy. I mean, I've found that my whole life, it's like I refuse to read the adventures and I improvise and, I focus on the wrong parts of systems. I cobble it all together. None of it works. some of the best sessions I've run ever have been these Trackmarks playtests. And literally what I did was I wrote the adventure. I'm like, I'm not running anything until I write it. And I'm currently writing the next one because I'm going to keep running Trackmarks. I want to be consistent for the first time in my fucking life.
The last one you ran was awesome. I was even really trying to break you. Because I'm like, Jimmy doesn't do parallel scenes usually. I'm going to split the party, see how it goes. And you're like, here's my system. And I was like, oh!
Yeah, the radios thing,
the
great. Plus watches and minus watches.
Yep.
Yeah,
time difference and everything. You had it structured very well.
And I wouldn't have been able to think of any of that if I didn't have it all. I guess I've just figured that out for me, is like, I don't think I can even Frankenstein stuff together. I need to literally sit down and longhand write out what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be great. And it's painful. It's like pulling fucking teeth every single time. Yeah. But I've had the most reliably consistent and quality sessions I've ever had. I'm sure I could also probably do that by like going through a ton of adventures and stealing stuff and piecing it together. Yeah. But, you know, I would still end up writing long form about all the stuff I'm stealing anyway.
Yes, sir. Well, so here's my trick. Because if we're going to take the allegory of Frankenstein's monster, because Frankenstein's monster, by the way, it's not for Frankenstein was the doctor. Okay, all
right, Sean.
It's not trying to take like separate limbs and sew them together. My trick for taking pre-written stuff and building a campaign out of it is all that pre-written stuff is just organs. It's functional elements that are either pushing the circulation of the story in some other direction towards another organ that I can put in. But overall, the body is one composite. I create a framing story.
Yeah.
Some story, and it doesn't have to be much. I mean, I've got one for Caveman, and it's literally just, this is what happened way back when, except it's actually in the future, except now it's way back when because we're in this time period that's based off of, what is it? Timeless Valley. Valley of the Lost.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
but create this overall framing mechanism that then I can just start with one of these organs, and because of having this other information in the background, whatever comes up as sort of lame or weak in written material, published material, I already know how to strengthen it.
Yeah,
because I know exactly what it's supposed to be feeding.
What you're talking about is a meta plot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I mean, I think World of Darkness caught like wildfire back in the day, and I think that having a meta plot is huge because it just contextualizes everything. It's a lot easier to throw stuff together holistically when you know that, like, you know, in the current V5 meta plot, it's like Hardestat's dead. It's an Anarch game now. Like the Jihad has pulled all the Camarilla princes and stuff out of like their holes, and now, you know, you're left with the remains, and there's a lot of like themes there and a lot of implications there. Yeah. And immediately any content, whether you steal it from something or come up with it on the spot, having that extra broad context helps with everything. And I am doing that with Trackmarks.
No, I was going to say that. That's actually a major thing about why Trackmarks work so well. Is because I've been in enough of those games to I have an awareness of the meta plot. So immediately, once I started playing in that last session, you lay down the foundation, how the game functions, of going, it's all about getting the bag, getting back
scales,
home.
Baby, yeah.
And I went, I've done that enough times. I know that meta plot's out there. I want to touch them.
Yeah.
See where it goes.
I want to go touch a dragon. I want to go poke a dragon.
Yeah. That makes it so much more, because it doesn't feel like just a mission that I need to accomplish. It feels like I am actually interacting with some living world.
You could just choose to go out there and just do your job, but if you poke around, there's other things that you find.
Yeah.
And again, I wouldn't have been able to do that personally if I didn't write everything out.
It's smoother at the time, but it's pulling teeth when you're not doing it.
But it's just how life goes, right? Is the more pain you put yourself through ahead of time, the smoother shit goes when you're like in the moment. If you have a plan going in, you know, even if the plan's not great, if you stick to the plan, you're gonna have something.
That's why I'm gonna start beating myself with bamboo so that I can be ready to kick your ass if I need to.
That's a good call.
Because
pain now, no pain later. You're gonna be doing the Hanzo thing.
I actually tried to do that
rice.
growing up, and my parents stopped me because they're like, "I think he's like hurting himself." I'm like, "No, I'm trying to use Shaolin techniques to strengthen my pain tolerance."
I'm trying to be Hokage. I'm a Saiyan. You don't understand. We get stronger when we get our asses kicked. That's fucking awesome. That's so cool. Let me see if we
I hope that answered the question.
I think it answers the question.
I think it's probably what they're looking for.
I think, yeah. I actually had a question. This kind of ran into it, which is because I've been thinking about this. So we're gonna take the published adventure question to the extreme, and then you'll be able to input more on this. Sorry, because you've played plenty of games too. Which is, do you like long-term campaigns more than short-term campaigns or one-shots? Because I've run one long-term game that was Out of the Abyss. It took like 2 years to do, or a year and a half. I was interested in my interest peaked again in Massive Nyarlathotep for Call of Cthulhu, and it takes about 300 hours to run that. Ooh. So that's like bi-weekly sessions for 2.5 years basically. Yeah. And, I know Ben, he'll stick to a game and run it until it's done. I don't like the feeling of being locked in a long-term game because then it hits me like, oh, we spent 2.5 years in this game. I only have so many games like that left in my life.
Yeah.
Because even like Ravenloft and stuff like that, you said it was like 16 sessions. It felt like it was way more than that. I thought 16 sessions was a perfect amount.
A lot of breaks.
Yeah, a lot of breaks. So how do you, I don't know. And then what really sparked this question was on the RPG subreddit, because I'm like getting ready to AstroTurf my game so people can fucking buy it. But it's like there was a question about, do you prefer long-term campaigns? Like overwhelmingly, it was long-term consistent campaigns that were preferred.
I think a lot of it has to deal with whenever I get into a campaign or any game that's multiple sessions, I put a lot of work into the character I'm going to play. And anytime I'm putting work into that character, a lot of how I make the character, their backstory, or anything is trying to tease out some like mental picture of things that I would like to try and explore in that game. So I pretty much always have a sort of a checklist of certain situations that I'd like to get in and try and get out from, certain things I'd like to try and instigate, certain things I would like to be confronted with and have to role play some sort of defense for, or have things about that character challenged that I can then learn how to have them change and grow with it. As long as I'm having the character that I am playing be continually engaged with the game that I'm in, I don't care how long it is. And the thing is, that takes both effort from me as a player, and then also from the actual subject material of the game itself. Not necessarily having a DM kind of reach out and have to keep checking in on whether I feel like the game is feeding whatever I'm wanting from my character. I feel like
that's kind of an unfair expectation.
That's honestly completely unfair.
You have so much shit going on behind the screen. The last thing you want to do is like, oh, but what about my parents back home? I don't give a fuck about your character's parents. You know how many stat blocks I'm tabbing through right now, motherfucker? Like, yeah.
No. So that
makes sense. It's like you make a character that you're going to like, and then you tie them into the material in a way that creates a question you want to explore, and then you're pretty much fucking satisfied. Yeah, in that way.
And I'll try to find an answer to that question. But before then, if a game's going well, I will have brought up twice as many questions through play before that first initial question or two is answered. Mm-hmm. Eventually, I will more likely retire characters mid-campaign, rather than have the campaign end.
You've done before,
or even have them die
in the same campaign.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Haven't you retired characters before too?
I don't usually build characters that retire easily.
Well,
that's true.
It's typically because I will notice that there is a change that's happening in the game itself, in the narrative, or something like that. Yeah, where I realize continuing this character, they're fun. Yeah, I might be able to keep doing some antics with them or having some good moments. But it's not going to be as satisfying as letting that story seed to the background and now getting more familiar with the type of game it is, creating something that's addressing it even more directly.
Mm-hmm. He had two characters that his goal immediately was like, they were like, I guess two of them were similar power grabs, I guess, quote unquote, because the Micah did.
Yep.
And both of them were satisfied very quickly and easily because one was Micah place where he went to, and the second one was a devil place.
Yeah.
So, of course, you got them both satisfied because we both had the two places.
Yeah. Right, that makes a lot of sense.
He was at a very specific place of why
you're talking about Out of the Abyss, too,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
Because two of his characters were in the right place at the right time.
And I did that just
on purpose.
I did that from narrative speculation, going, okay, it's a game in the Underdark. I know there's demons involved and stuff. Basically, you read the little blurb synopsis and me going, okay, what would be an interesting angle, something that perhaps isn't very typically explored in this sort of campaign. So I'm like, I'll start with a Myconid. There's probably not many people that have played a Myconid in this sort of setting where it's actually attached to what I will assume, because it's the whole goal from what it states is exploring the Underdark and trying to solve all these problems. Well, I want to create a character that focuses and cares largely about the one, a community-focused character.
Right.
So he's found a community in Myconid and he stopped.
Yep. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
That was resolved a lot quicker than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, you do find that colony relatively early in the campaign.
Yeah, it was very fast. So then the next thing I thought of, okay, well, we've got mostly a mix of characters, some of them good and everything, but the whole thing is trying to stop the demons. I'm like, okay, well then, why don't I approach this from the perspective of the Blood War? If I play a devil, the whole campaign is about fighting demons as much as possible.
Yeah.
If I play a devil, I can be as evil as I want and still be completely aligned with the intentions of the group every single moment because I'm there to kill demons.
That's true. That's a really clever way to do it. I think so. That does kind of. I think the problem with long-term campaigns for me has always been stagnation, whether it's running it or playing it. Sometimes you just end up hitting a patch that you're just like, I'm just not too into this section, I'm not too into this thing. What I like about track marks is that if I'm not having fun anymore and go like, all right, we find the scales, back to the station, and then you're never going to go there again.
Yeah.
And then there's no more problem. And you still have the same character, but I like the idea of tying. As a player, I also find it hard. I also find it hard to do longer slogs. I don't know. I don't really have much. I've never really thought about this before. How do you deal with being in long-term games?
I think long-term is you get to a point where, and it makes it sound like the bad thing, but I think it's, if you're going to get in a group every week, it's nice. You don't have to make a new character. You just sit down and you're ready for the next part. And you can go through slogs, but you don't have to make a new character. You don't have to know new lore, new game system,
new rules. Yeah,
you just get there. Something's happening. You might not be the focal point of that time. I mean, if you're in the game, you probably want just try to do something. Short term, it can be really fun, but preference would probably be long term, just because it's just physically easier. You just get there. You order your characters done. You try to do your character thing for that session, and then it's another day. Short term can be more exciting for sure because it's
right.
The whole point is the fireworks.
Yeah. If
it's a short term, and since I haven't DM'd in a long time, my best ones were quote unquote, because I did do a long term campaign even though it has been years and years. I did have a long term campaign when Casey was in his dark ages. When he wasn't running,
dark ages.
When he wasn't running, and then after I ran a while, he went, "Fuck you, Matt." He pushed me aside.
You're never running a game again.
So, for instance, I really loved that game because the game that you ran, we were playing in Pathfinder, which we had played for a long while. And it had just come down to build the meta in a way that no one's ever done before.
Yeah.
And then, so naturally, I did that. And then Matt's game was all about the meta doesn't matter. Do paperwork and deal with society.
Which you made a character that did that.
It's very Terry Pratchett.
I did, but I didn't realize how much you were going to focus on
I
that.
rewarded you more for that than anything else.
And thus, I found that more rewarding.
Yes.
Because it was more of a challenge. I'm like, I can't be really... I already know Pathfinder in and out. I can't be challenged mechanically.
Yeah.
Except for these specific ways. Every time I made a character, I'd be like, yeah, they're pretty much untouchable. But if you could just ask me straight up, you'd be like, yeah, hit me with this type of save or that, and I'll die. It's no problem.
That's how I wanted to build it.
That's so cool. And I mean, put that another drop in the bucket for just giving up and just buying all the 3E stuff again.
I mean,
right,
even
boys?
that new game I was trying to do, which maybe I'll do this again, was still supposed to be the same thing.
Yes.
You're ghost hunters, but you still have to work within a society that obsesses over etiquette.
Yeah.
Here's my here's my question is it's like, so then would your, okay, we make fun of 5e people a lot on the fucking podcast, but I think the things that you're describing are very much why you have people who I only play 5e. D&D is RPGs and that's it, because there is the consistency. There is the I know what we're doing and I can just sit here and enjoy the game.
I got a lot going in my life. I just want to play a game.
What do you feel about, because this used to be the norm in like the OSR, which is the eternal game. The GM has like a fucking composition book and a graph paper book, and they're always adding on to the same world the whole time. You're always coming back to, assuming they don't die, the same characters in the same worlds. Is that appealing to you?
I want it to end. I want closure. I want a new thing.
I want to experience as much as I can. So staying within one setting for too long, that actually.
Well, what about different
messes with my endurance?
Absolutely, but what about different parts of the setting, right? Like, you know, you reach the point where, well, in OD&D or OSR stuff has a natural end, right? You become level 10, you own a castle, you own people, you tell the referee, here's what I want to do in the world, I create this nation or this thing, and then you play new characters. You could decide, hey, we're going to play somewhere completely different, we want this kind of setting, and we're going to place it somewhere in this blank part of the hex map, and then eventually it'll connect over here.
Yeah.
And then you just, you know, it's kind of how, whatever you think about Galarian, it's nice that the Galarian adventure, that Pathfinder adventure has zoom way in on one part. And there's so many things in that world that it's going to be completely different every time. You could play Pathfinder forever, and you could play two different adventure paths, and they don't even feel like they're the same game.
Yeah.
Because they're so far apart. Does when I say eternal milieu, does that sort of, like, I decide I'm running Swords and Wizardry every Monday forever, and it's going to be the same milieu, but of course when people level out or they get tired of it or whatever, then I get out another sheet, put that shit in my binder, and it's like, all right, we're here now. Does that kind of model appeal to kind of the sensibilities you're describing?
I'd prefer not.
Why is that?
Because it just variety is the spice of life, you know?
That's what I'm saying.
We became better because we played Burning Wheel.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is very true.
And there's going to be other games, like we're going to probably try Lancer soon. I've never tried it.
I'm so fucking pumped for Lancer. It's going to rule.
And I started
Lancer
reading the book a little bit, but like, I don't know, variety is the spice of life.
It is. So I guess then in that case, because I feel like Casey's on one end of the spectrum where it's like, give me a character and a question, and I'm fucking good. I can handle myself. Yeah. I'm very much like, I can maybe last 8 sessions in a consistent game before I start getting really antsy. What do you? Where do you lie in that spectrum?
What do you say? Like, you look like you want to say
something.
Yeah.
I mean, Ravenloft was only 16 sessions, and Planescape was only about 20 sessions because I had a pulse on how antsy you got.
You get antsy quick.
I had lots of stuff planned for multiple, like Planescape. I was ready to go all throughout the lower planes, and I'm like, I think Jimmy's getting tired.
Yeah, I think that's why
I tied it up.
I think that's why I like Burning Wheel so much, because there's never a dull moment. You're always supposed to be making these crazy checks and these beliefs, and the problem with Burning Wheel is as a referee, it can be really fucking hard to keep up with.
Yeah,
you know, it can be really hard to keep up with. I think so. So, what would be your ideal then? How long does a long game last?
I mean, because I always had a different philosophy, like I said before, of how it runs. So I'm similar with Casey, which is I start a character with a goal of where I want to see him, or how much he's affecting the world, and I just every session will constantly push as far as I can go. Depends on the session, but how far I can involve myself in the world. You know, as you can see with how I do certain things.
Right.
Unless I'm just tired, you know. But like, I don't know. It's like you said, if the campaign's interesting, it can go on for a long time. It's just we've seen throughout the whole time we've been playing is you should just try new things when you can.
Yeah.
Even if you think you're like, yeah, you know what? I'm like, yeah, like I think I said before, like years ago when I was at a chiropractor, and there was a guy who was there, and he's like 40-ish, mid-50s, and he said he only played second edition, and he's with a group that only played second edition for 30 years. And I talked about, like, yeah, there's this fifth that exists now.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, but we've been, he was basically saying it was the same world.
I feel like
the whole time.
I feel like it is possible, though, to get that level of iteration you're looking for from doing that. Like, if you have a giant, and most OSR milieus end up being gonzo. They end up being like people hate on Galarian. Most people's worlds end up being like Galarian, and that's not a bad thing. It's so you have as much variety as possible. It's like, I want to do a game where these people, we go over there and do it. Usually what ends up happening is when you run a game for that long, you end up iterating on it anyway. You end up adding new systems, adding new ideas, doing these things. And especially when you belong to a larger collective like the OSR, you're stealing things here, you're stealing things here. Like where you're talking about, Casey, where it's like, we're kind of holistically grabbing all this stuff and jamming it together. Basically, the point of this exercise I'm trying to say is like, if there's an answer for everything, when it's like, I'm tired of playing these characters, we can make new characters. I'm tired of playing in this area, there's a new area. I'm tired of playing with these systems, there's a lot of stuff we can throw on that I've come up with and other people have come up with and we've come up with. Mm-hmm. At what point in any of that is there like a point where you're like, I would rather start playing something else? Like, I'm curious as to what the trigger for you is to be like, I'm ready to move on.
So as soon as the campaign ends, try something new.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
How long do you think?
If someone's willing to try something new, I'm up for it.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm asking all this is because you also just said that you like consistency. You like consistency in times and consistency in systems and in games. So how long do you think you could go then? Until infinity with that, or what's the limiter?
I'd say 30 sessions. 30 sessions,
I don't know if I can put a number on
solid.
It. It's 30 sessions
it's a
could
bit
mean
long.
3 years. It depends.
It depends, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like, you can't. But what do you mean 30 sessions? It means nothing. Even 10 sessions could mean 3 years. It depends on how we do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I could put a number to that. It's just sometimes it's, even if I'm stuck with like, okay, let's just play 5th because it's easier. I mean, I haven't. You guys have still played more games than I have, other systems, and so I haven't seen the other Spice of Life yet, as much as you guys have.
I don't know.
And I'm bad at learning rules, but luckily Ben's there. So I just lean on him right near the stairs as he careens down there.
Yeah. I used careening in a song.
Did you?
Yeah.
You, that's funny. That's
I'm bringing
awesome.
it back. I've gotten some people to start saying it.
You
too.
guys abused it.
You're
not
bringing
me.
back careening. Yes.
I didn't mean to say it, and I opened up a can of worms.
You really did.
So I can't put a number to it. It's just I've realized that yes, I could probably play 5th for a long time, but even if you play different classes and all that, and someone does a third party, like you play some kind of Goku race or some JoJo race.
Yeah.
It's better to just learn a new system and then go back to that if you really want to. But then you learn something from the system.
And I do totally agree with you here.
But you don't. But you don't.
Well,
That's what he said.
No,
Yeah.
well, I wanna. I'm really interested in kind of picking out. What you're talking about here. I think
you're the one that actually reads the systems. You're the one that's just I read 1 through 4, and you're like, well, what? You're like all the systems of D&D, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
I'm just and I no, you're totally making sense. I totally get where you're coming from, but I keep coming back with questions because I'm really interested in. I envy the fact that you can get comfortable with the system, but at some point, the comfort does end.
Yeah,
mine ends a lot faster.
Oh yeah,
which is why I'm envious.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. I burn bright and just fucking.
Well, like you already saying is
better to burn out than to fade away.
Exactly. So I guess literally the adage of every one of my characters.
So you're wondering for someone who has a higher tolerance against it,
where does it
I
end?
break?
So let's that's what I'm interested in. And so here's an example. Okay, because we're talking about new systems and stuff. So if it's system based, that's interesting. D&D 5th edition is the only RPG in the world. It's the only one you can ever play again, and you're still playing in games.
Give me the gun.
All right, that's my answer. That's a good answer.
What was
Give
it?
me the gun.
What did you finish to?
No, I was gonna say, so like, where if there was only one role playing game system, where would your limit be? Because is it literally a question of you like that there's different fiddly bits and different ways to do things and different perspectives on what a game means? Is that what interests you, or like?
I'm just curious of like just the burning wheel effect we've had and what it can help with storytelling and how we become a better person.
You're right, and I totally agree. But like, so your breaking point would be the system never changes. You think if it was the same?
I think it's
thing
just because like
out,
yes, you could do an OSR that does this, that, and that, but everyone fills into their crevice and everyone plays similar games no matter what you do. And if you play a different system, it will force you to play differently.
That's a very good point.
And you will
That's a very good point.
You'll hit this train track where you will fit in your spot, but because the system is different, it'll physically have to be a different spot.
That's a really good point.
So yes,
I like
Casey
that.
will play different campaigns, and maybe we're cavemen, maybe we're doing Star Trek. But Star Trek in Caveman, Casey will run similarly because he has his threads. Things will similarly happen no matter what happens because of how he likes to run things.
Yeah.
But it is completely different because of how it forces him to run things.
And it's like, I pretty much always play the same characters, but how that manifests.
Really?
Yeah. Shut up.
What?
But how that manifests depends completely on the system,
Really?
obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's what I'm saying.
I think every
see what you
character
mean.
you've played is completely distinct, Jimmy.
I think they're distinct enough, but there's elements. There's
Just
roots.
a guy yelling, but then...
Oh, did I say distinct? I just meant stinks.
End the podcast. End it right now.
You want-
End it right